My brothers and sisters in Christ, today's gospel passage regarding humility and childlike tendencies reminds me of a particular scene from the third movie in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Return of the King. It's been some 20 years or so since those came out, so apologize if there's spoilers here. Of course, the classical literature itself is much older and, as always, much better. This isn't, people have strong feelings about movies and books. I don't often quote them in these reflections. But the point is this. There's a scene at the end of the movie. It didn't happen in the books, but it does borrow from some other material in the books, where at the end of everything that's happened and the world is saved, and the great king is at his coronation, receives his crown amongst a kingdom of men, and then, much to the bewilderment of the hobbits, which the hobbits in Tolkien are the halflings, the very small people, literally in stature, small people, but the true heroes in the work. And much to their shock, their eyes are opened. They feel so small amongst this grand event of the great kingdom of men and the coronation of the long-awaited king, and yet, to their surprise, the king, their friend, comes and kneels before them and says, "My friends, you bow to no one." The reason this scene has a connection to me with this passage that we hear in the gospel today is, of course, it's a trope of a certain inversion. The inversion that happens in that particular case is the small people are suddenly the ones who are receiving the bows of reverence. The king, the one who has all the right to have everyone bow to him, instead bows to someone seemingly small. But this is the attitude that Jesus speaks of in today's gospel. Who is greatest among you? And he takes a child and puts it in their midst and says, "Be like this child." In fact, in the Lord of the Rings, the reason that the hobbits, particularly Frodo and Sam, are the heroes is not just because they're big or they're small or whatever. It's because their hearts are wonderful. They don't see themselves bigger than they are. They see themselves as small players in affairs much bigger than them, but are always motivated by great courage, love, and the desire to do the right and to serve others. And so in this moment of dawning, the king recognizes that nothing would be possible if not for their action, and shows that, much to the shock of the crowds. For us, we can often go through life thinking too highly of ourselves. And this is where today's gospel gets really shocking, because that is actually backed up by what comes later. The image of leaving the 99 sheep to go find the one. The Father puts such great value in each sheep. He puts such great value in you and I. So important are we to him that he will spare nothing to find us, to seek us out, to keep us safe. But despite that great value, we are, of course, still nothing compared to God. But most importantly, we are not to see ourselves as great, but to recognize that greatness in one another. If we can be like children, not seeking to compete, not thinking of ourselves highly, certainly not above others, our needs are not more important than the needs of our brothers and sisters. If we can instead see ourselves as lowly characters in a play much bigger than us, as we are children of God and involved in something so much greater than us. But if we have the hearts to simply seek to love one another, to serve one another, to never seek what is ours, but merely to take care of one another with hearts like children, that purity of heart, then that indeed is when we will become great, the fullness of ourselves as created by God. That is the great mystery of the Christian life. It is only by becoming small that we can become as great as we are created to be. And so, may we have hearts not just like fictional hobbits, but may we have hearts like proverbial children, small, innocent, living in a world much bigger than us, but with hearts ready to love and hearts full of joy to embrace all that God has prepared for us. May God bless you.